we can take you back to transfer deadline day. Did you know, you drove out about 2:30, 3 o'clock, remember? Just missed me. What did you think was going to happen when you left? You clearly had a chat with the chairman, had a chat with Saido. What did you think was going to happen?
In what respect?
With Saido's future.
Well, what has happened? You know, that he stayed at the football club.
So you knew that no matter what, the chairman would turn it down?
Yeah.
Can I ask you honestly, if it was up to you and it was your decision, would you have let Saido go to Tottenham?
It wasn't up to me. I think there's more. You know, there's more to it than football here. I think the important thing at football clubs is getting a deal that is right for your football club. And I don't think anybody can question the chairman in respect of the way he's run this football club over the past 10 years. And if he feels the deal was right, then the deal was right. If it wasn't, then it wasn't. And he would have done that in the best interest of the football club. You
suggested the other week, you mentioned Saido's not a piece of meat. Do you think he's been treated like it between the two football clubs? No,
not. I didn't mean it in that respect. I meant that he was like it was a little piece of meat in the corner waiting for something to happen. I didn't, not the way that it was proclaimed. I think the big disappointment, and it's something that people should learn and hopefully take from this, is that transfer windows should close before the season starts. Because it's not just Saido. If you have a look what's happened with Stones and 2 or 3 other people at other clubs, it just causes problems, and problems that you can do without. And if people want to do the business before the season starts, before a ball is kicked, and then we wouldn't be talking about a young lad who's got pulled and pushed around.
When the tweet went out suggesting that he wouldn't play, whilst Jeremy Peace was here, what did you?
Well, my big issue with Saido is that he is immature at times in respect of the way he reacts. It's something that he's done. The 2 windows that I've been here, his reaction has not been sensible.
Yeah. One thing he has had since he was 11 is the support of this football club.
We spoke to him about that, Pete.
Has he treated them badly?
No, yeah, of course he has. He's the respect that Saido should have shown his football club and the supporters and everybody around the club wasn't there. But I'm not saying that came from the kid. I'm saying there's third parties involved. You don't know what they're saying to him. That the poor lad is being led into, or being promised something and led into an area that he's most probably never been in before, and it's difficult for him to work it out and handle. But to say, that kids shouldn't have ambition to move on and better themselves, that's completely wrong. That that every, like I say, I wish I had 10 other players in that dressing room who had his quality and the ambition to move on to better clubs, higher clubs, and doing that, Pete, that's the way it works. Everybody accepts that. If you're that good, you move on. But the deal has to be done properly. The big disappointment with Saido is that he's let himself down in respect of the way he's handled it. But I think that's more lack of experience and also third parties.
Now, between your chairman and Daniel Levy, what are you left?
I'm not talking about Daniel, or Jeremy. That you want to ask them questions, you ask them questions. I'm just talking. Good. I can understand why. No, I'm more concerned about now getting Saido back to playing football and getting back integrated in the club.
Well, how easy is that?
Well, he's been very good this week. He's been absolutely brilliant, and the players have been good with him as well. I think the players can see and understand, the way this has worked out and how difficult it's been for the lad. Because he's wanted all his life. You speak to him, he wants to better himself. He wants to play and be an established England international. That's his ambitions. He's got fantastic ambitions. But the problem is, Pete, he's got to understand that he has to do it the right way. And the way he's done it is not the right way. And as you've rightly said, with the supporters and everybody at the football club, he has to show them more respect.
Have you got any problem at 2 o'clock when you put the team sheet in with having his name on it and him playing?
No, not at all.
So he could well play on Saturday?
Yeah.
And what do you think of the reaction? What do you ask of people now?
Well, I've said what I think the kid should have done, and I've spoke to him about that. We all make mistakes in life, Pete.
So what do you want the fans to do if he runs out?
No, supporters have to judge what they judge and see what they see with their own eyes, and it's up to the supporters to I can't tell them what to do and what not to do. The only thing I'll say is that I'm so pleased the window's closed. I'm so pleased that he's still here as a player, and the players are pleased that he's here still as a player. and that's the most important thing. This football club's bigger than any individual, and Saido, I think, has realised that over the past couple of weeks.
After everything then, the first tweet, you probably ring him up, somebody from the club, Martin maybe, would have rung him up.
I didn't even see the tweet. I don't...
The one on the plane, then, after everything, you give him a few days off, and he takes a picture of himself.
Again, I've not seen it, Pete. You know, the people have told me about it, but I think that epitomises what the reaction that Saido gives, and it's the wrong reaction. And speaking to him, he understands now that it was the wrong reaction.
What have the club done? Have you fined him?
Again, you'd have to speak to the chairman about that. I don't get involved in all that.
Can you have a player that doesn't get on with your chairman? Does it matter if they don't talk?
Who says he doesn't get on with the chairman now? Who says they haven't had a meeting and made up? Do you know that?
Well, have they?
Well, I don't know, but do you know that they haven't? I don't.
I'm asking you. You probably do, don't you?
I went out with the chairman and had dinner last night, and you know the chairman was as good as gold. No problems.
Did you ask him?
No, I didn't ask him at all. What he does with Saido, I think, is between those two.
Did you go out with Saido and his mother?
No.
Where did that come from?
Yeah. Let's have a look around, eh?
Have you not had to sit down with the player though, and have one of those meetings? You know.
Nah, I've 5 minutes on the training pitch. He knows where I've come from right from the start of the window. Right from the start of the window, I told him to stay out of it. Let the two chairmen get on with it.
Okay. Will you ask him to sign a new contract, or do you expect him to leave?
No, I'll ask him to play Saturday if I need him. I'm not concerned about signing new contracts or doing that. That's up to the club to discuss. That's up to the club to do with him. I'm a football man. I just see Saido as one of my players. All the finances and everything else that goes with it, Pete. You know, that's a side issue for me. He's been given, you know, he's been blessed and given a great talent. And the thing he should recognise, and all these people should recognise, is that they should try and get the most out of that talent. The rest of it will follow. It will come.
Do you, finally on this subject, do you think it will be all right?
What will be all right?
With you, Saido?
Me and Saido are fine. There's absolutely no issue and no problems now. You know, I actually feel a little bit sorry for what's going on in lots of respects, because underneath all the stuff that he's done, and like I say, the way he's acted and has been very immature, very, very, very silly. There's a decent kid there, and you know he just needs to be looked after. He needs to be protected, and this football club will look after him and they'll protect him.
A decent kid, but can you understand the frustrations that have led to his own teammates grabbing him before now?
Well, they haven't done that when I've been here, Pete.
No, not when you've been here, but can you understand?
Well, I don't know nothing about it. If I've not been here, I can't comment on something that I've not seen or heard.
You're not the only manager, head coach, call it what you like, on transfer deadline day to have this, have you? I mean, Victor Wanyama.
No, I think if you look at Wanyama, if you look at Stones, if you look at Saido, if you look at maybe a few others that have happened behind the scenes, as I've said before, whether they'll take any notice, the window, the football, you know, like I say, the transfer window should close, the football season should start, and then you haven't got none of these issues going on, and you know the big thing, and it's not just the big clubs, you know, it's clubs, you know, we've been after players as well. So, you know, we're as bad as everybody else in lots of respects, trying to get players and trying to move players, because the system is open to that. What I'm saying is just close the system for everybody. Close it, have it finished, and then the season starts. And then at Christmas, if they want to open it again, we'll all accept that goes on, but not before the season starts.
You can always get a situation with a buying club when you've got a player who wants to go and he can see all these riches. The buying club sometimes can almost put on deadline day a bid in to be vindictive if they like.
Pete, I've just said, if in my opinion, close the window, start the football season. That's my view on it. Full stop.
How many players have come back injured? Have you had any?
Yeah, no, all the players are back fit, but you know, there's one or two that have played 180 minutes that we're looking at. And we're going to see if they're okay. You know, Rondon has travelled, I think, 15,000 miles and played 2 games. So we'll have to look at him today. He only arrived yesterday morning, although he managed to get him for training. So there are people we'll have to look. You know, Morrison's played in Georgia and then played against Germany. So they're 2 big games for him. So I've got to decide whether it's right to start him or have him on the bench. Those decisions you have to make.
Is this the smallest squad you've ever worked with?
It's a small squad, and you know I've spoken to the chairman about that, but it's the squad we've got, so we'll get on with it. And you know I'm looking forward to putting all this nonsense to one side and playing football tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Brilliant, Pete. We can talk about football then.
Do you wish the chairman had spent more time trying to buy you players than sending off faxes to Daniel Levy?
Well, like I say, the window has gone now, and let's hope, if they can put it in place, that we'll have a system next year where it will close before season starts.
Do you just look forward to the whistle going tomorrow and getting them with the
football? Yeah, very much.
Tony, in all your experience in football, have you ever known anything like the Saido situation before?
No, it's been disappointing because it's been handled poorly from everybody, and I really do mean from everybody, and everybody could have done a little bit more to have protected and protected themselves in lots of ways, and I don't maybe even I could have been a bit stronger right at the beginning of it. Although I did have a good chat with a lad and told him exactly what I've just said to Pete now, that he should stay well away from all the politics in it and just concentrate and play football. Maybe I should have been a bit stronger when I spoke to him and he was a little bit disillusioned and didn't know whether he should be playing or not because he didn't think his mind was right and mindset. Looking back, maybe I could have been a bit stronger then with him. But I've got a good rapport with him, and I understand him, and I understand the character he is and what he is and what he's about.
Southampton will be looking at the situation and remembering the goal he scored to win the game at the Hawthorns, and they'll be thinking, we wouldn't mind if he was on the bench.
Yeah, no, well, like I said, we've missed him for what was it, 3 games now, 2 or 3 games. So, and he's a very, very good player for this football club. So we've not come out of it too well, really, in respect of him being on the football pitch.
So has he reconsidered the tweet where he said, I won't be playing?
I've spoken to him about things, and like I say, what we've spoke about is what I've just discussed. At times, he's got to be a lot more sensible, not a lot more level-headed than what he is, and not react off situations.
And the Albion fans, how would you expect them?
I can't tell the Albion fans how to react. That's got to be their own decision. But my big thing as a manager of this football club is this is a wonderful football club. It's got fantastic tradition, and Saido, he deserved to respect the supporters and the people around the club a lot better than what he's done. But he's a young lad. I think he understands where I'm coming from. I think he understands more now after the event. But how many people in this room have always been clever after the event and not during the event? And this kid's no different to anybody in this room. No problems.
So do you think this is the tipping point for Saido now, the time where he won't act up almost anymore?
I think the tipping point for Saido now is getting back to what he was last year when he was playing exceptionally well for us. He's got to get his head down, he's got to get himself back fit, get himself back in the team and start performing the way he can perform.
How can you guide him? How can you change him?
You can only go so far in respect of pulling him in the right direction, and I think the most important thing is that he gets his head down now and he concentrates on football and he recognises and realises the mistakes that he's made, and there's a big bad world out there waiting for you if you say the wrong thing.
Is he suitably ashamed, maybe a bit of a strong word, but is he, does he feel that way?
As I've just said, we're all wise after the event. There's no one in this room who hasn't made a mistake and thought afterwards, I shouldn't have done that. And he's one of us. It's the same as everybody in this room in lots of respects. The problem is he's a young player in a very high profile industry, and they get exposed a lot more than what we do when we make similar mistakes.